Welcome to episode 100 of the Big Lad Podcast. This episode is going to be a roundup, a reflection, things I've learned over the last 100 episodes, and mainly just a thank you to you listening, whether this is your first episode, whether it's your 100th. Big thank you. I really appreciate the support. It means so much that loads of you are just willing to listen to me basically ramble on about different topics and have conversations with different people. I've sort of coined the phrase recently, real conversations with real people curated for you. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to speak to more people with interesting stories, but also relatable stories that people can take pieces of wisdom from and learn lessons and that might help them in their day-to-day life. So I've actually got a few stats on the podcast to begin with. So the first episode actually went live on the 26th of January, 2021. So the podcast originally started because basically I'd became friends with quite a lot of people on Instagram through fitness stuff. My plan was then to sort of start meeting up with these people and doing vlogs, bit of YouTube I was doing at the time as well. Obviously, the lockdowns came in like 2020. They were still there in 2021. So I thought, instead of waiting around, I'm going to start a podcast. And I originally started on my work's laptop with my work's headset. Looked like I worked at a Mackey's drive-thru with the mic around the side of my cheek. And the audio wasn't great. And neither was the video, to be honest. I was filming it through Skype at the time, so the quality was really bad. And yeah, it sort of stemmed from there. I started speaking to the people that I was going to plan on working out with. And it started pretty inconsistent in small series. It was like 10, maybe 15 episodes, and then there'd be a big gap, and then the same again. And it got to the sort of back end of 2024, and I said, right, I'm going to give this a real good go and see where I can get to with it. Yeah, 100 episodes was the target to hit for the end of this year. And by the time you're listening to this, it'll be the 28th of December. So first of all, Merry Christmas. Hope you had a good one. If you listen to this after New Year, Happy New Year as well. But that was the goal for this year. It was to hit episode 100. And I came into the year on episode 52. So it had taken me 4 years to get to episode 52. It's taken me 1 year to then get another 48 episodes, and I'm really proud of being able to do it. I've only had 4 weekends off where there's not been an episode. There's been a couple of double episode weeks thrown in there every now and again. To be able to do that alongside my day job, I moved jobs in January as well, and it's been absolutely chocker, especially this last 2 or 3 months. It has been really tough, but I've stayed consistent. I've put the work in, and I'm starting to see the fruits of the labour this year, numbers wise. So overall, over the 100 episodes, there's been 56 guested episodes. So that means 44 solo episodes, which if you've never spoke to a camera like I'm doing now, just literally to yourself, it's very difficult and it takes a lot of time to sort of master, because staring down the barrel of a camera lens is a really strange experience. You're used to pretty much just having conversations with other people and getting a response back, but to be able to just speak and air my thoughts has taken time, countless hours of YouTube, countless hours of podcasting. You do just get naturally better over time. It is just in the hours that you put in. But in terms of this year, we've done over 120,000 views on YouTube overall, and I think it was about 113,000 of them came this year. So massive. And then thousands of downloads on Spotify and Apple to go with that. So yeah, it's the biggest growth I've seen in 2025. Not just views as well, it's subscribers. Completely smashed the previous 4 years combined. It is all just down to consistency and putting the work in. And then I actually came across a stat about podcasts. So they call it the 3-episode graveyard, which is 47% of podcasts stop before episode 3. The 25 episode mark, roughly 75% of podcasts quit by episode 25. often within the first year. 50 episodes, around 8.5 to 12.6% of podcasts make it to episode 50. And then episode 100, only 4.8 to 6% of podcasts reach the 100 episode mark. So I'm kind of up there in the top 5% of podcasts in terms of longevity, which is nothing to sort of turn your nose at. It's a big achievement, and this is one of the things that I'm really trying to do, which is celebrate my achievements. And to hit episode 100 on target, I'm absolutely buzzing. And yeah, again, thank you very much for listening, because there's been times, especially this year, where I've been really busy with work and I've just thought, what is the point? But then I'll get a message of someone that's listened to an episode saying how much it's helped them, and it just spurs me on to go and do another few more episodes. So my target for next year, so this year it was 48 episodes. I'm going for 50 episodes next year. So not a massive increase. Like I said, I'm extremely busy with work outside of all of the social media stuff I do. So for me to then be able to match last year and do a little bit more is still going to be a challenge. It's obviously another 2 episodes. But the extra thing I'm putting on that is I want half of those 50 episodes to then be guested. So we'll hit episode 150 next year with at least 25 guested episodes. And I've already started working on lining up some guests for next year. I'm really excited to have some really interesting conversations. And there's going to be a few people that have been on it this year or previously that'll be coming back, because I know quite a lot of you enjoyed some of those episodes and we had plenty more to speak about. There was quite a few of the episodes where we'd stop recording and we'd end up having another half an hour to an hour conversation after the episode had finished. And I was like, I wish I'd just pressed record again, because we could have got 2 episodes out of it. But we'll come back to them, don't worry. Plenty of conversations to have. Some of the things that I've learned from the podcast, like I've just mentioned, consistency is key. Like anything, with weight loss, with your career, anything, it always comes down to consistency. There's the few people out there that, yeah, might get lucky and fly, but quite often, even the people that you think, oh, they came out of nowhere, they've been grinding for however many years in the background. And although the podcast is coming up to 5 years old in January, I very much see this year now as year 1, because it is the year that I've properly given it some effort and consistency and just expanding outside of it as well. So not only have I got to try and create a community online with it, there's also other avenues that I've been going down, which is writing on Substack. So Substack, if you don't know, is a similar platform to Twitter, but it's more for writers. So I've been writing article versions of each episode, and I've also just been putting just random thoughts up there in the form of what they call a note. So the note is similar to a tweet, but then there's a post, which is an article. So it could be from a couple of minutes long to a 15-minute read. And it's just for those people that if they want to read a little bit more about the topic, they can go into there and get maybe a bit more inspiration, depending on what the topic was. And then there's obviously the links to the YouTube, Spotify, Apple that you can find anyway. But I've really been enjoying that one, not only writing on it, but also consuming content on there. There's some really, really good writers. And what I wanted to do this year was read more, but I find it quite difficult to commit to a whole book, because it may be a week between me reading. And yes, it is down to me if I want to do more reading, and I essentially just need to do it. But I often find myself doing other things instead, because I've probably forgot the last few pages of what I read last time, and then I've got to catch up. So it takes me far longer than it needs to. So these, say, 5 to 15-minute articles that I've been finding on Substack, I've found are really, really good, because there's some really good people on there doing topics that I'm really interested in. So I would encourage you to go on there. Some of the people you may have to pay for, depending on how they've got it set up. Quite a lot of people post articles for free. So yeah, I would highly recommend going on Substack. Another thing that I've learned is introspection. Even some of the solo episodes that I've done have made me really reflect on sort of my actions and how I am just in general day-to-day life. And it's made me sort of trying to align my values to them as well. I found it's really interesting, especially with some of the conversations I've had with some of the guests. I think one of the things that I've took into everyday life is that, those times when you're out in public and you think, oh, they were a bit rude. It's made me really think behind that. Like, there's so much that you don't see going on in people's lives where, like I said, there could be someone that's a little bit rude to you, but you don't know that maybe they've had a really bad day. They might have had a breakup or got sacked from their job or things like that. So when I'm seeing people act out in ways, I'm now, instead of taking it personally, I'm thinking what's going on behind the scenes to make them act in that way. Or are they just a general bit of an idiot? So I think that one's a really good one that I've been thinking about. I've also, I speak a lot about stoicism because I think it aligns very well with my values, but also I'm finding that it seems to be very misunderstood. So people seem to think that it means being cold and ignoring your emotions and things like that, when for me, it's the exact opposite. It's actually understanding your emotions and being able to control them and the things that are going on around you. So it's the whole thing of the dichotomy of control. So essentially what that is to focus your energy on the things that you can control and accept what you can't. So I've always said control the controllable, which is essentially just that worded differently. And if you can't control it, then don't waste your energy on it. The only thing that you can do is control the way you react to it. That is what you're in control of in situations where you can't control the outcome. Just let it happen, but then you can control exactly how you react. And there's obviously stoicism goes far, far deeper than that, and I will do plenty more podcasts on it. But yeah, I think a lot of people would, if they actually read into stoicism a bit more, I think they would find it aligns with themselves a lot more too, instead of just thinking it's cold people, mainly men that look into stoicism. But yeah, it's a really good. And yeah, just generally hearing people's stories, like I've just mentioned, I think there's so many things that I didn't realize that were so common. So I've had a few people on talking about eating disorders, and obviously I'm on Instagram as a fitness account, so I have seen part of it. I just didn't realize how common it was, especially among girls, for eating disorders. And, there's other things like mental health, really big topic that I always touch on as well. But yeah, it's just basically what you don't see when looking at someone or seeing someone's social media. It's very eye-opening, I think, and I can only thank the guests coming on and being so open and honest with me and with the people listening. I really appreciate it. So if you're any of the guests that I've had on, especially in the last year, thank you very much again for being so open and honest and giving me the chance to speak to you about your experiences. Really appreciate it. Now, I'm going to look into a few of my favorite episodes. So obviously there's 100 episodes. There was 56 guested episodes. I'm not going to go into them. I think I managed to get down to 10. And yeah, I'll just say a little bit about them, and I'll leave some of the links in the description below if you want to go check them out. One of my favorite episodes was with Jeff Rhodes, and that was an episode where we spoke all about his trip across the national parks. So I think it was 51 national parks in 50 days in America. And he spoke to me about this trip in his Porsche 911. He has such a passion for Porsche, adventure and travel. I absolutely loved it because since I was a kid, my dream car is a Porsche. And the thing that annoys me the most about people with cars like Porsches or, any sort of expensive car is when they keep them in the garage, just sitting there collecting dust as an investment for the future. For me, those cars should be driven, and I think it's an absolute crime to have it just sat there. Jeff is the epitome of the ultimate Porsche experience. I think he's now clocked over 300,000 miles. And most of the nights that he's spent away, he's been in a rooftop tent box. So if you go check out his Instagram, he's got some incredible photos of the places he's been to and the things he's seen. But he's literally driving around in this white Porsche with a tent box on the top, and it looks insane. And he's actually taken it off this week because he's going skiing, so he needed space to put his skis. And I messaged him, I said, it looks so strange without the tent box because I'm so used to just seeing photos of this Porsche with it on. And yeah, it's Jeff is one of the people that will be coming on next year. We're going to be speaking about his latest adventures. Genuinely, this is another one where I think we spoke for maybe an hour and a half after the podcast had finished. And like I say, we could have genuinely got 2 or 3 podcast episodes out of it. So he will definitely be coming on in 2026. Episode 8 with Anna Rutledge. This one was just hilarious. There's so many bloopers left in the episode. She couldn't get started. I would basically ask her, like, how's it going? And she'd just burst out laughing and got all nervous to speak. But it was actually a really good episode. So that was about her moving to Spain as someone from the UK and just sort of adjusting to living in a foreign country. So if you are potentially looking at doing that, well worth checking it out. There was another episode with actually another girl called Anna. She spoke to me about moving to Dubai. So go and check those 2 out if you're looking to move abroad. They might help you out. Episode 13 with Jeff, absolute legend. I've known him through Instagram for absolutely years. We keep saying we need to link up, and we need to at some point. Maybe 2026 is the year. Jeff is into his 60s. He is still working out, still in the gym, still post gym content. And he was speaking to me about how he had open heart surgery and then recovered from that and then got back into the gym. And I think he's such a massive inspiration to the following that he's got. He's a little sort of micro influencer out there, and just love seeing that he's still working out. And yeah, I think he's a massive inspiration, especially to the blokes of a similar age to him. I imagine he is a huge inspiration for getting people active and into the gym without him probably even knowing. Absolute top bloke. Episode 22 with Becca. This was one of the ones where we were speaking about her eating disorder. She was really open about how she'd been in and out of hospital dealing with her eating disorder, and then how she made it through recovery. And now, again, she's posting gym content. That's how I originally met Becca, through Instagram and the gym content, and then found out about this. And I thought it'd be good to have a chat about it because, like I said, there's quite a lot of, especially women, young women, with these idols in magazines and things like that. And yeah, eating disorders are not good. Episode 32 with Andy, another great guy, absolute legend. He was actually my physio for about 5 or 6 months when I was going through knee rehab. Andy was head of physio at Liverpool Football Club, which I am a fan of, and he still works with a lot of like Premier League footballers, and he also did the rehab for Tom Aspinall's ACL repair as well. So obviously UFC heavyweight champion. And yeah, he's a great guy. I know another, well, actually, the next episode up that I was going to mention, Izzy. Izzy also went to Andy, and yeah, he's a top bloke. Can't fault him. But we spoke all about what it was like working at football clubs and with some of the biggest football stars. Really interesting one, obviously, because I enjoy football and I'm a Liverpool fan. Episode 56 with Izzy. Izzy is another person that will be on in 2026. I came across these set of questions, which was about like how to really deeply know someone. And the first person, because I was going to basically re-engineer that into a podcast episode, and I thought straight away Izzy is the perfect guest for those questions. And I've already spoke to her about it and she agreed. Definitely wise beyond her years, and we have the dodgy knee in common as well. So that was a topic of conversation, and Andy actually came up in the conversation. And yeah, really good episode about sort of spirituality, coincidences, synchronicities. Really enjoyed the conversation. Like, I know Izzy outside of the podcast before that anyway, and we've had loads of conversations. So it was a really easy one to speak to. And yeah, you'll be seeing her in 2026. So stay tuned. Episode 80 with Sophie, which was a very inspiring story to stay strong through some of your worst times. So Sophie actually found out that she had thyroid cancer when she went to the dentist. The dentist told us to go get it checked out. She found out that it was thyroid cancer. She then told me all about, the feelings that she was going through, the process of the sort of operation, the recovery, and then getting back to full fitness. Really, yeah, inspiring story to basically stay strong even at your worst times. Because I couldn't imagine hearing, finding out that I had cancer at such a young age. But she's all well. She has a page set up called the Butterfly Care Collective, where she shares her experiences for other people that may be further back in the journey, which is brilliant. Episode 86 with Andrew, Tough Yarns. So what Andrew was doing was going up to basically just strangers and saying, would you like to come and go for a cold dip with me? And basically having sort of tough and awkward conversations. So it was mainly around things like mental health. So he'd be asking like deep questions and then, basically going for a dip with these people. He's also just done a big bike ride for men's mental health for Movember, raising money for that, which was incredibly impressive. I think it was, I can't remember what the name, it was like 23 great rides or something it was in New Zealand. And he's done all of them sort of back to back. Really good. And he's still doing sort of similar content now. He's changed it up ever so slightly, the style of content that he's doing, but I'd definitely go check him out because he's having some really good conversations. He also told me that what he does after the dip, he turns the camera off, they go for a coffee, and then they ask some really sort of personal, deep questions and get into really good conversations, which I thought was really good because I think people do just need to talk more in general. His whole idea is to be able to show people that you can have tough conversations and then sort of promote them to go and speak to family members and friends, which is really good. Episode 93, this is up there again with one of my favourite episodes with Justin Crompier. He told me his incredible story of being in the depths of heroin addiction to becoming clean for over a decade now. And I think he is a world-class photographer. He's incredible. Some of the photos he puts up are amazing. He also does a yearly calendar. So I think he only ships in the US. So if you want a sort of landscape calendar, I would definitely check him out. He is brilliant. But like I said, this one, he took me through the whole journey of how the addiction started, how it sort of progressed, how he realized there was a problem and they had to do something about it. He then told me that his sister was doing a sort of guided meditation. She asked him, did he want to join in? He said yes. And it was there and then that he realized that he needed to do something and go to rehab. And I actually posted a clip of this on Instagram, and his sister dropped me a message saying she had no idea that that was the trigger for him to go to rehab. So they've had like a really nice sort of brotherly, sisterly moment. And I loved that I was able to sort of help with that. But again, it's all down to Justin coming on the podcast and being so open and honest, because there's probably a lot of people out there that wouldn't want to speak about that, especially on the internet, but he speaks about it quite a lot on his Instagram of sort of where he's been and where he is now, and that it is possible to sort of get out of the addiction. And I think it's brilliant because he's, again, probably helping so many more people than he actually thinks. And then the final one, a recent one, episode 95 with Beth Moody, who again is also coming on next year. We've already said that we're going to do an in-person episode, actually. We're probably going to meet up for a workout and get a in-person podcast done. So I came across Beth fairly recently, actually, on social media because she was doing a trend leading up to her 25th birthday. It was the whole thing around there was so many days until her frontal lobe was fully developed. And she speaks a hell of a lot about her personal sort of mental journey. So like mental health journey, how she's feeling. She speaks openly about her going to therapy. She promotes people going therapy. And I think the content that she's putting out there is really good. It's really relatable. And again, I can only say thank you for being so open and honest in the conversation. I think it was a really good one and it's got a lot of really good feedback and I really enjoyed the conversation, which is why we've already said that we'll do another one in next year. Sort of a continuation on, I think. Massive year for the podcast. I also forgot to mention, the podcast actually got its first sponsor this year. Well, not sponsor, affiliation with New Tonic. New Tonic is a drink that I was already drinking with. I'd already done 2 or 3 YouTube reviews and they actually reached out and said they would like to make me affiliated with the brand. And I can only say thank you enough to the, I guess, marketing team and Chris and James for actually creating the drink. If you don't know, Chris Williamson, 8th biggest podcast in the world, and James Smith, one of the biggest online PTs in the world as well. I've created that drink and it's a productivity drink. And is full of things like cognizin, rhodiola rosea, Panax ginseng, L-theanine, and 120 milligrams of natural caffeine. This flavor's blue raspberry and it is absolutely banging. Definitely go try it out. If you do want to try it out, you can actually get 10% off with my code. If you check the description below, there's a link. And if you use George10 at checkout, you'll get 10% off. So I would highly recommend it. I've had all of the flavors and I don't even think I've got a favorite. They're all brilliant. They're not paying me to say that either, by the way. I just have an affiliation. I get a little bit of commission if you use my code. So yeah, this is not a paid promotion at the moment. But I would very much appreciate if you use my code if you're going to buy some anyway. But I think we'll wrap this one up. I've done a lot of reflection in the last, I would say, month or two. I've been thinking about what I've been doing because last 2 months with work and travel and social events, I've had probably the busiest period of my life. I can't lie. It just feels like it's been non-stop. And there's been, like, I finished work last Friday. I was going hiking on Saturday morning and I didn't feel like that was even the next day because I ended up working till 9 o'clock. I had so much on and I was just sat there thinking, I don't even feel like I can look forward to it yet because I've not got work out the way. It's been honestly so busy. So I'm so happy that I've managed to get episode 100 done. There's going to be so many more episodes to come. We are, like I say, only just beginning. I feel like this has been year 1 and we're right at the start. The numbers are only going to get bigger over time. So stay tuned. Still undecided whether I'm going to start like offering out a little bit of merch. I do have the t-shirts myself. I have had a few people ask as well, will I sell them? But let me know if you'd like a t-shirt and drop a message in the comment section below and I'll get that sorted because it's something I can do. But yeah, I think all there's left to say is thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sending me messages about like reviewing the episodes. I genuinely really, really appreciate it. And I can't wait to show you what's in store for next year. It's going to be a big year, even bigger than this year. You think 100,000 views on YouTube this year, there's a chance we might double that next year. I hope. Let's see. So yeah, I see where we get to, but all I can say is that there will be at least another 50 episodes next year. So plenty of listening to do. If you've enjoyed this one, drop it a like. If you're new, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.